Yeah, sure, I turned the camera on. Now you get quiet. There's an owl in here somewhere. Oh, cool. And the key is on because I can see the radio on in the tractor. I'll bet that thing's not going to start. We haven't ran that in several days. Morning. Welcome to Saturday. So I got the seed tender, heading over to where we were land planing last night. I'm taking this because when I'm done land planing, I'm going to take that back, unhook it, hook up the hay drill so it's ready, and then bring the big drill over, plant the oats. We'll be done with oats. And being that it's Saturday, I know I'm kind of on my own for figuring out my own logistics, because on a normal Saturday we'd have a half crew, but because they even called off water today until 4, we got nobody today. Well, that's not true. Bart will be around because Bart's part of the feed crew on Saturday. So in a normal weekend, which we're kind of running out of those now, we're getting into the farming season. So all winter long, we split the crew in half. Half the crew show up Saturday, half the crew show up Sunday. So you got it, one of the weekend days you're completely off. And on the day you work, we feed cattle and then you're done. So, 95% of the time, you're done by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So you got like a day and a half for your weekend, rather, you want to think of it that way. Well, with water coming, we originally had told everyone, hey, plan on working the weekend because we got to get water down. Well, ditch rider called yesterday afternoon and said, hey, that first ditch will turn on at 4 in the afternoon on Saturday. The other stuff might turn on Sunday. So since it's one ditch, it's clean-ish. It's only a mile from the head gate to our divide, and it's our only pivot on that ditch. We just told everyone, you know what, don't worry about it. Me and the tuna can handle it, which means I get it, handle it, more than likely. He might show up and give some, motivational talk. I wouldn't want to blister his hand holding a pitchfork. I don't hear about that one. Where was I? Oh yeah, because of that, we just told everyone to take Saturday off, but then everybody plan on coming to work on Sunday, because there's a good chance, and with our forecast, I'm kind of hoping all 3 of our main ditches will turn on tomorrow, because the weather Tuesday and Wednesday kind of goes to hell, and I don't want to have water then. Here we go. We're a little over half done, so hopefully an hour. It's funny because after being in this tractor for the last, what is today, day 4? I'm just ready to be done with this project, ready to be done land planing, move on to something else, which for me is going to be planting the oats. It's going to go super fast, 45 foot at a time. Then by tomorrow I'm back to manure crew. So I'm going to go from, right now I am at about 14 acres an hour, back to manure where I'm like an acre an hour. Feels like maybe 3 or 4 acres an hour. Either way, making the dust fly. Oh, that's so pretty this time of day. Well, I thought some cool drone footage while it was cloudy would be awesome, but the drone no go. Tried calibrating it like 10 times now and it says failed every time. That's awesome. I have to keep cranking out these videos because I need some more money. I need potentially a new drone. I know I need a new camera because my audio's been going to hell lately. I'd like to get one of them 360 cameras to be able to put on stuff because I always like those kind of views. And I haven't made that much money off of YouTube yet. And just like that, 9:15, we are done. I got my wings pinned. The hitch is locked. Let's go unhook this thing and get this tractor on the hay drill. Well, I was going to hook up the drill, but because we got a park splitting bays all awkward, I gotta get that tractor out of the way. I don't feel like doing that. Plus, the tuna just said he's not worried about having anybody plant hay until Monday, so we're just gonna take off with the big one. Let's go get the oats in the ground, huh? Okay, if I come to my planter monitor, so Cameron planted 60 acres yesterday. In theory, that means he planted 6,000 pounds. I've got right at 40 acres here. We had 10,000 pounds of oats. Should come out perfect. But I know we were planting heavy on the first load because he was a couple acres short. Backed off a few pounds to the acre to try and balance it out. I think I'm going to turn it down just a little bit to make sure I can go far enough, because I know the tender had 3,300 pounds in it, and that's why I love that scale. Because did you notice I didn't fill that box full? I was watching the scale on that remote control, putting 1,000 pounds in each box, and then I kind of evened it up at the end. I'm itching like freaking crazy though, because the downside to running it out of oats means a lot of dust. I need a shower. So this is the first time I'm using the field view with the drill. Cameron says he really likes it, but one thing I find hilarious, my population is 270 pounds per acre because, oops, wrong button, that one. It's adding all three boxes together to get my total. Instead of saying, oh, altogether we are averaging 90 pounds per acre. No. It's saying, well, all three are planting 90 pounds per acre, so that's 270 pounds per acre. That's not how that works. Because you go into your control, which I can't do while it's running, and you tell it what population you want. And I told it, let's back it off to 90 pounds per acre. So it's telling me that it's calibrating each box to where, on the average, we're going to hit 90. And as it's kind of bouncing around, it's showing you what each box is doing. We're not planting 270, we're planting 90. Oh, this isn't looking good, guys. We're already at 33 acres. We still have all this over here to plant. All that. We're gonna be out of seed. And it's after 12. Son of a gun, I was hoping to have this project wrapped up by noon. So I discovered a slight issue when I was refilling with seed a little bit ago. The pin's trying to come out. That has been, to call it a pain in the ass from day one would be an understatement. This originally was a drawbar rather than a 2-point, but we didn't have this tractor at the time whenever we bought this. Our planting tractor, the drawbar wasn't rated heavy enough for it, so we converted it to their 2-point, bought all the parts from them, put it together, and we have had hell with that pin wanting to come out from day one. Okay, I got it down a little ways, not very far. You look at the nut on the bottom though, there's a gap, but the threads are screwed up. I can't get it to tighten anymore, so let's just hope that nut's stuck there and it'll be okay. Nah, we got stuff to do. Here is the one time I'll complain about one of these big box drills. Trying to run the damn thing out evenly. So as you can see, not a whole lot here. This one's got some more. That one's got a little less. So now I gotta use the bucket you seen back here. Kind of shimmy it all around. Go plant 2 or 3 passes, get out, shimmy it around, plant a pass, shimmy. Last 10 passes here are going to take all friggin' afternoon. Now, what is shaking here? Oh, you about fell. Don't misinterpret that. I will take that problem over having a smaller drill that you don't have to shuffle as much seed. Without a doubt. I've had the smaller drill. We used to plant our wheat with a 12-foot drill. It literally took me a day and a half to do a half circle. I don't want to go back. I like the big drill. I'll deal with that as a problem. During oats, it kind of sucks because we only plant about 100 acres. So after one day, then all of a sudden you spend several hours shuffling. But like wheat and sorghum, where we plant a crap ton of acres, yeah, it's really nice. And when I said that was my only complaint, that's my only complaint about having a big box drill. I have a list a mile long complaints with this lemon. Wow, I censored myself. This drill has been a nightmare from the day we bought it, and I'm counting the days till it leaves the farm, just because of all the crap that was wrong with it. So if you're new here and you never heard this, or if you've been here and have forgotten this, we bought this drill in 2021, or maybe it's 2020. No, it was in 21, because it was by the time everything was really hard to get. 21, it was hard to get equipment. We ordered a drill in February for May delivery. That's how long it took. You couldn't just show up to a dealership and buy one. It had to be built for you, because that's all the more they could get done. It's a shiny new silage trailer. Anyways, yes, I know we're low on seed. So we order it, 45 foot wide, 7.5 inch spacings, because we don't like the wider spacing, we don't get as much tonnage. Drill shows up in May, it's on 10 inch spacing. So they had to build us a new drill, and instead of taking 3 months, it took 3 weeks. You can imagine how quickly everything was thrown together. It shows up late, so we're trying to get our other one to limp by till this one shows up. We get this one on day one, like that whole wing tried to fall off because everything was loose. There wasn't a tight bolt on this thing. Bart spent 2 days going through it with an impact and a wrench, tightening everything up. Look at that. I do believe that's the newest member of the silage fleet. So I'm distracted while I was telling you guys, you know, the 2 Hitchcocks that normally haul with us sold at an auction here a couple of weeks ago. Another neighbor said, hey, I'm interested in getting a trailer. Can I haul for you guys? We said, yeah, you're picking a really crappy year to do this, but yeah, because the silage market isn't looking good. So that's a new member of the fleet. I'm sure you'll see more of that later. Back to the story. So Bart has to go through, tightens everything up. Oh cool, now the center one's about out. The right wing still leans back, and we cannot get it to sit level with the other two for some reason. But we're just constantly finding issues with this that are driving us up the wall. Bart swears the running gear isn't built heavy enough. I don't know if I've bought into that yet. We have ruined 2 spindles from the bearings just grenading. You take it apart, there was grease in there. The bearings just give out. But yeah, there's, along with electrical problems you guys seen yesterday trying to get this thing up and running. But now I got to get out and go shuffle seed, because I made it down and back. How many passes do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 passes will finish, and we don't have enough seed. So the part that's driving me nuts is our initial calibration. He was 4 acres shy of where he should have been based on how much seed we put in. That would make the difference. I don't even think it's 4 acres. Move Brett Cooper out of the way there. That's all I got left. A little bit. It's not ideal, but I made it work. So I had these last 3 passes to go, which is looking like it's 1.3 acres, because I was right at 44. Turned the population down to 80, readjusted the seed as best I could, and then now what I'll do, because I know it's uneven, when I lift up, I'm going to replant these same 3 passes, going the opposite way, so maybe rows that ran empty will now have some seed, and vice versa. And we'll see what happens. The last pass, I'm going to crank it up to 150 pounds per acre just to try and run them meters empty. It's kind of what we normally do, like on a sprinkler corner. If we have 100 pounds left, we'll just go out there, crank the population way up, and just plant a pass. And hey, if we catch a rain, we'll go make a bale. If we don't catch a rain, oh well. Ho ho, let the fun begin. First ditch just turned on. It's 4:15. Hopefully we can have this pivot running before dark. So there's what is called the weir box. That's what measures the water going down the ditch. We should be on a 1.1 at minimum. We're on about a 0.8 or 0.75. As you've seen though, the ditch isn't very full yet. Water's coming. So the way our irrigation system works is you have a certain number of shares of the ditch company, per farm. I didn't set that. I don't know who did. I didn't. This farm we're sending water to has 150 shares. Why 150? I don't know, because that's what it has. So what we got now, so the water comes through, we know how many CFS needs to run through that weir box for us to be getting full shares to everybody on this ditch. So then down here, our water will split and divide. You guys seen me measuring that divide the other day. Water will split, go to each farm from there. Sorry, I'm trying to have like actual put together thoughts while paying attention to what's going on. On this ditch that we'd call a lateral, anytime it's carrying water to multiple things, it's called a lateral. This lateral just happens to be called divide. Why is it called divide? I'm assuming because that way is kind of a hill that way. That way is kind of a hill that way. So this is riding the dividing line between the two directions of water flow. I'm assuming. But anyway, so this lateral is carrying our water, a neighbor's water that we share a lot of ditches with, and then a third neighbor who's not here yet, but we talked to them, they're coming. They know about it. I don't know where I was going with that. One thing that came apparent very quick is we got a lot of concrete work to do here. The ditch is screwed up before the divide. The divide is uneven. I didn't think to measure that the other day. And then our culvert to take our water is 5 foot away from the concrete now. I was asking the other guy, I go, how long has it been like that? He goes, I think since I put in the pivot here 5 years ago. But either way, our water's done. It's going in the pond here. So we go through the sediment pond, into the big pond, and then the way this one's set up, since it's downhill to the pivot point, it gravity flows from that cylinder back there in the pond all the way down to the pivot point, and that's where the booster pump is to pressurize the system. Whew, that sucked. Helped get the neighbor's water all the way down to the bottom. That was kind of a mess down there. But now I'm back here at our pond. Tuna went to check the head gate. We think we're running way too much water now. Like the ditch has come up. So yeah, this is not the way we would have set it up, but hey, it's the way it is. So you got this little pond here for the sediment to kind of settle out in. And then your pipe going into the big pond. So you use the sediment. Our canal water has a whole lot of sand and silt and sediment in it. So you use what we call the sediment pond or the settling pond or the catch pond for that water to go real slow, and a lot of that heavy sand and stuff will settle down into the bottom, letting cleaner water go through. It's still not clean, but it's cleaner. Then you just have to clean out them ponds a couple times a year, so that way it keeps catching the sand like it should. If you don't, you start getting a lot of buildup in your main pond. Then you have to do a lot more dirt work in it than you normally would. So the water comes in here, as I said earlier, goes out that cylinder over there down to the pivot point. You know, I don't mind the crank windows in this pickup. I really don't. I just wish it was here instead of down here where it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just because my elbow's all screwed up. Why did that just ding? It says recording. Look at that. We even got ducks out there already. See the 2 ducks? Give it an hour, hour and a half. We'll be ready to fire this one up. Well, we got an hour to kill. We picked up the dogs. Hi, dogs. There's a third one. Brought them to come check the cows. It's their favorite time of day. Go for a ride. Stare at cows. Anywho, I'll catch up with you guys in about an hour when we go to fire that up. Okay, normally I would let this run a few more hours before I turn this on. But, as I'm sure you can hear, the wind is picking up, the temperature is falling fast, and I want to know what kind of problems we have. So we're going to go try it. So the first thing we really need to do is flush filter. As you can see, it's already open, but we got to open this, turn the power off, so it'll let me come hand crank open the valve. So this valve is electric. It runs off of the pump. So when you tell the pump to fire up, the valve opens. That's why I had to shut the power off, because it thinks it's supposed to be closed. Get this little valve closed. I'm gonna let that run for a few minutes. Okay, everything's done there. We got water on, 1/2 inch, no stops. I don't know where cruise is. I'm gonna turn that off. And we want to send it that way. So now the valve will open, the pump will kick on, and off we go. So why a 1/2 inch? Multiple reasons. One, we just put sand in all these tracks in this hay. We want to give the sprinkler time to pack that down. You come along, put a whole bunch of water on, there's a good chance you're going to push a lot of that sand out. 2, we've got a full pivot of crops here. We got a 1/2 pivot of hay, 1/2 pivot of wheat. We need to get water on all of it, which means we got to spread ourselves thin, because problem number 3, the way our canal works, you get your water for 48 hours, and then it shuts off, goes to the next guy, the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. When it gets to the end over there, starts over up the ditch 100 miles and works its way down again. Depending on how much water is in the river, depends on how fast it gets back here. It's kind of the downside to our irrigation system, but whatever. We figure out how to make it work. That's why if you notice, we farm pivots mostly in quarters. Sometimes we'll farm them in halves, but mostly quarters, because we have to be able to irrigate certain parts at certain times of the year. So ideally, you know, you got a 1/4 circle of alfalfa, a 1/4 circle of wheat, maybe a 1/2 circle of corn. Well, the alfalfa and wheat need a lot of early water like we're doing now. Corn is going to need that midsummer water. Well, your wheat's going to be gone by midsummer, so you don't have to irrigate that quarter. Your alfalfa is going to keep living off of this early water, needs some to supplement it, but all of a sudden you have a 1/4 circle where the wheat was, you're not irrigating, that leaves more water to put on the other 3/4. I hope that makes sense, because I've explained this to tens of people. That might be overestimating it. And our water system is so confusing, guys. I could sit here and talk to you for hours about intricacies of our water system. But I don't want to do that. Let's check our nozzles. I'm liking this. Normally your troubles, the first 2 towers, they were good. I think I've seen the entire system move. Those ones are moving. There we go. Oh, it's quiet. I like it. And I already watched the 2 behind me move. Oh yeah, guys. That's not right. But it's cold. I'm not fixing that. Water's coming out of the hose. That's all that freaking matters right now. Oh, I shouldn't have stopped. Dust swirled in, now it's in my eyes. I got dust in my eyes. Alright guys, I'm going home. Sounds like the ditch rider is saying nothing more until Monday, which means you guys get to watch us in misery in the wind trying to irrigate. That'll be fun. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys later.